think this is true. The world that I know's just a glimpse of what God has prepared for me and for you. There's no place I can go, no thing I can do. There's no effort to prove my own worth. I don't find myself, I've been found by the one who created the heavens and the earth. God is great, God is glorious. He's the light on my path, He's victorious. God is good, God is gracious. He fulfills all my needs, He's victorious. Safe and remember I'm loved by the God who created all things. I will fear no man, freely sharing God's love and the joy that life with God brings. So despite my failings, I'm a child of God, though my sin may rip me apart. Behind every sin is a lie about God. He just wants me to give Him my heart. God is great, God is glorious. He's the light on my path, He's victorious. God is good, God is gracious. He fulfills all my needs, He's victorious. Fulfills all my needs, He's victorious. He fulfills all my needs, He's victorious. Santo Biblia en el año. Gilberto Barrios dice que, hola, ¿cómo estás? Muy bien, ¿y tú? All right. Welcome to Bible in a Year. April 21st, day 111, day 111 also happens to be the last day of Deuteronomy, the finishing of the Pentateuch. Good morning, dear sister Daisy C., watching while she gets ready. Love you, sister. Gilberto says, me encanta tus canciones de rock. I'm guessing that has something to do about singing the rock and roll. Muchas gracias, señor. Mi español es muy mal, pero I no sé. I'm not sure. I can piece through, but my Spanish is very choppy. So, but you are welcome here. Bienvenidos, señor Gilberto, pero es en inglés, obviously. All right. I did want to announce, I know that some folks don't like the announcements, but I'm going to a conference this weekend. Some of you might recall, and I don't remember if it was this year or if it was the end of last year. Might have been the end of last year, but gosh, this time is flying by so much and so fast. And really, it's so sad how fast time goes, because I saw David Wood, who's one of my favorite YouTube apologists. Apologia Center, which is based at a church in Sun Valley. They are having their second Praise with Reason conference. It's featuring two more of my favorite apologists, and it happens to be on my birthday. So I'm celebrating my birthday by actually going to this place in Sun Valley. It's not very far from where I live. Where inspiring philosophy, who's Mike Jones, and God Logic, who is Avery. They are going to be there and speaking, and I really look forward to maybe shake their hand and thank them for the work that they're doing. I do wonder about security, though. They have targets on their back. Gilberto says that his son is singing the version of Raw. I guess your son was singing the song. Does he know the song? Has he been? And yeah. Oh, and he's added it to his favorites, maybe. Or there are his favorites. That's awesome. I appreciate that. Happy birthday. Thank you, Daisy. Yeah, it's coming up April 25th. So check this out. If you happen to be in the area, be another place. I'd love for you guys to join us. And I imagine this is a new subscriber, maybe something. Health to me, please. New. I am a new subscriber. Muchas gracias, señor. So on that note, let's go right into the reading. We read the Bible here. We try and ask God every morning from 7 to 8 a.m. I've only missed one time and had to double up once this year. I don't think I missed it all in 2023, but it's probably going to happen again. But we're going to get through I'll make sure by December 31st, God willing, and I'm still alive, that's what we're going to do. And what did Daisy said something? Your Bible's mostly highlighted. That's it. Evidence of a well-read Bible. I don't write in my Bibles that much, and so it looks like I only open it up for church. Especially because my latest Bible, Daisy, you'll appreciate this maybe, but you're still a young lady. I got the Bible with like huge writing, so it take a lot of effort. I'd have to like double highlight the lines. But you're making progress between this and church. Great. Just stay in the Word. It's where we find hope. And I know you've had some sad moments this past year, and I have too, and it's to come. Like as I said, continue to pray for my dad. I think that it'll be really, we'll be very fortunate if he's able to get to Christmas, but that is only because it could be that he was like because he was such a social hermit, he had given up. And I saw him last night too. We brought him some Portos. If you don't know Portos is amazing. It's a pastry, and they also have sandwiches and stuff. And my wife brought Portos. They had these balls of meat or whatever, and cheese rolls and empanadas. Muy delicioso, Senor Gilberto. And the best place, Cuban. And I had, just before we started here, which might be why I'm a little amped, I had a cheese roll. Awesome. That's amazing, Daisy. One last thing before we start. Oh, see, this is where I'm practicing my Spanish. You have 2 persons and now 2 likes. Ha 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 ha. Something like that. There's 9 people, 9 en total, en todo. Now you have unlike. Muchas gracias por un like. Okay, and on that basis, let's keep going. Thank you, Lord, for your word. And please bless the discussion to follow. The link is pinned if anyone would like to join in the discussion. And let us begin. We are closing Deuteronomy. Wow, I always love it when we have like a big book that's hard to read, like Deuteronomy, and we're finishing it. But we did learn some great things this year, and I hope that it sticks with me, particularly the idea that after all of that stuff at the end in Deuteronomy 30 or 31, that God says to Moses, guess what? Yeah, good job on presenting the law, but they're going to fail it. Pretty remarkable, and it only makes sense with a new covenant. Thank you, Lord, for your word. Beginning with Psalm 49 in full. Hear this, all peoples. Give ear, all inhabitants of the world, both low and high, rich and poor together. My mouth shall speak wisdom, and the meditation of my heart shall give understanding. I will incline my ear to a proverb. I will disclose my dark saying on the harp. Why should I fear in the days of evil, when the iniquity at my heels surrounds me? Those who trust in their wealth and boast in the multitude of their riches, none of them can by any means redeem his brother, nor give to God a ransom for him. For the redemption of their souls is costly, and it shall cease forever. Then he should continue to live eternally and not see the pit. For he sees wise men die, likewise the fool and the senseless person perish, and leave their wealth to others. Their inner thought is that their houses will last forever, their dwelling places to all generations. They call after their lands after their own names. Nevertheless, man, though in honor, does not remain. He's like the beasts that perish. This is the way of those who are foolish, and of their posterity who approve their sayings, Selah. Like sheep they are laid in the grave. Death shall feed on them. The upright shall have dominion over them in the morning, and their beauty shall be consumed in the grave, far from their dwelling. But God will redeem my soul from the power of the grave, for he shall receive me. Do not be afraid when one becomes rich, when the glory of his house is increased. For when he dies, he shall carry nothing away. His glory shall not ascend after him, though while he lives he blesses himself. For men will praise you when you do well for yourself. He shall go to the generation of his fathers, they shall never see light. A man who is in honor yet does not understand is like the beasts that perish. Luke 20 into 21:4, which sounds pretty light, so let's make sure that that is correct and I didn't miss a digit. I did not. All right. Then some of the Sadducees who deny that there is a resurrection came to him and asked him, saying, Teacher, Moses wrote to us that if a man's brother dies having a wife and he dies without children, his brother should take his wife and raise up offspring for his brother. Now there were 7 brothers, and the first took a wife and died without children, and the second took her as a wife, and he died childless. Then the third took her, and in like manner the 7 also, and they left no children and died. Last of all, the woman died also. Therefore, in the resurrection, whose wife does she become? For all 7 had her as a wife. Jesus answered and said to them, the sons of this age marry and are given in marriage, but those who are counted worthy to attain that age and the resurrection from the dead neither marry nor are given in marriage, nor can they die anymore, for they are equal to the angels and the sons of God, and are sons of God, being sons of the resurrection. But even Moses showed in the burning bush passage that the dead are raised, when he called the Lord the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. For he is not the God of the dead, but of the living, for all live to him. Then some of the scribes answered and said, Teacher, you have spoken well. But after that they dared not question him anymore. And he said to them, How can they say that the Christ is the son of David? Now David himself said in the book of Psalms, The Lord said to my Lord, Sit at my right hand till I make your enemies your footstool. Therefore David calls him Lord. Now how is he then his son? Then in the hearing of all the people, he said to his disciples, Beware of the scribes who desire to go around in long robes. They love greetings in the marketplaces, the best seats in the synagogues, and the best places at feasts, who devour widows' houses, and for a pretense make long prayers. these will receive greater condemnation. And he looked up and saw the rich putting their gifts into the treasury, and he saw also a certain poor widow putting in 2 mites. So he said, truly I say to you that this poor widow has put in more than all, and for these out of their abundance have put in offerings for God. But she out of her poverty put in all the livelihood that she had. We close the book of Deuteronomy. Now this is the blessing with which Moses, the man of God, blessed the children of Israel before his death. And he said, the Lord came from Sinai and dawned on them from Seir. He shone forth from Mount Paran, and he came with 10,000s of saints. From his right hand came a fiery law for them. Yes, he loves the people. All his saints are in your hand. They sit down at your feet. Everyone receives your words. Moses commanded a law for us, a heritage of the congregation of Jacob. And he was king in Jeshurun when the leaders of the people were gathered, all the tribes of Israel together. Let Reuben live and not die, nor let his men be few. And this he said of Judah, hear, Lord, the voice of Judah, and bring him to his people. Let his hands be sufficient for him, and may you be a help against his enemies. And of Levi he said, let your Thummim and your Urim be with your Holy One, whom you tested at Massah, and with whom you contended at the waters of Meribah, who says of his father and mother, I have not seen them, nor did he acknowledge his brothers or know his own children, for they have observed your word and kept your covenant. They shall teach Jacob your judgments and Israel your law. They shall put incense before you and a whole burnt sacrifice on your altar. Bless his substance, Lord, and accept the work of his hands. Strike the loins of those who rise against him, and of those who hate him, that they rise not again. Of Benjamin he said, the beloved of the Lord shall dwell in safety by him, who shelters him all the day long, and he shall dwell between his shoulders. Good morning. How are you doing, brother? Mercy and love. And of Joseph he said, blessed of the Lord is his land, with the precious things of heaven, with the dew and the deep lying beneath, with the precious fruits of the sun, with the precious produce of the months, with the best things of the ancient mountains, with the precious things of the everlasting hills, with the precious things of the earth and its fullness, and the favor of him who dwelt in the bush. Let the blessing come on the head of Joseph and on the crown of the head of him who was separate from his brothers. His glory is like a firstborn bull, and his horns like the horns of the wild ox. Together with them he shall push the peoples to the ends of the earth. They are the 10,000s of Ephraim, and they are the thousands of Manasseh. And of Zebulun he said, rejoice, Zebulun, in your going out, and Issachar in your tents. They shall call the peoples to the mountain. There they shall offer sacrifices of righteousness, for they shall partake of the abundance of the seas and of treasures hidden in the sand. And of Gad he said, blessed is he who enlarges Gad. He dwells as a lion and tears the arm and the crown of his head. He provided the first part for himself, because a lawgiver's portion was reserved there. He came with the heads of the people. He administered the justice of the Lord and his judgments with Israel. And of Dan he said, Dan is a lion's whelp. He shall leap with Bashan. And of Naphtali he said, O Naphtali, satisfied with favor and full of the blessing of the Lord, possess the west and the south. And of Asher he said, Asher is most blessed of sons. Let him be favored by his brothers, and let him dip his foot in oil. Your sandals shall be iron and bronze. As your days, so shall your strength be. There was no one like the God of Jeshurun, who rides the heavens to help you, and in his excellency on the clouds. The eternal God is your refuge, and underneath are the everlasting arms. He will thrust out the enemy from before you, and will say, destroy. And Israel shall dwell in safety, the fountain of Jacob alone, in a land of grain and new wine. His heavens shall also drop dew. Happy are you, O Israel, who is like you. Happy are you, O Israel, who is like you, a people saved by the Lord. The shield of your help and the sword of your majesty. Your enemies shall submit to you, and you shall tread down their high places. Then Moses went up from the plains of Moab to Mount Nebo, to the top of Pisgah, which is across from Jericho. And the Lord showed him all the land of Gilead as far as Dan, all Naphtali and the land of Ephraim and Manasseh, all the land of Judah as far as the western sea, the south, and the plain of the valley of Jericho, the city of palm trees, as far as Zoar. And the Lord said to him, this is the land of which I swore to give Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, saying, I will give it to your descendants. I've caused you to see it with your eyes, but you shall not cross over there. So Moses, a servant of the Lord, died there in the land of Moab, according to the word of the Lord. And he buried him in a valley in the land of Moab, opposite Beth Peor, but no one knows his grave to this day. Moses was 120 years old when he died. His eyes were not dim, nor his natural vigor diminished. And the children of Israel wept for Moses in the plains of Moab 30 days. So the days of weeping and mourning for Moses ended. Now Joshua the son of Nun was full of the spirit of wisdom, for Moses had laid hands on him. So the children of Israel heeded him and did as the Lord had commanded Moses. But since then there has not arisen in Israel a prophet like Moses, whom the Lord knew face to face. And all the signs and wonders which the Lord sent him to do in the land of Egypt, before Pharaoh, before all his servants, and in all his land, and by that mighty power and all the great terror which Moses performed in the sight of all Israel. Thank you, Lord, for your word. Bless the discussion to follow in Jesus' name. We are going to take a quick break. And if you'd like to join, I see you, Levite, in the chat. If you'd like to join, you can. The link is pinned. We'll try and limit it to the discussion that we have, the reading that we have for the day, finishing the book of Deuteronomy. If you have thoughts about the book of Deuteronomy, awesome. And Cake Sweet, thanks for joining us this morning. Amen. Thanks for being here. If you have any questions about the reading, questions about God, whatever, Cake, I don't have all the answers, but I sure like to try. And I'm always happy to talk about the hope that I have in Jesus. So let's play Fuller the Flow. I'll do it as the video file again, as we did yesterday, which is a little nicer to watch than it is just to listen to the song. I think I'm a person who tends to like visuals. The song is based on Ezekiel 47, came out last month. It's on your favorite any of your favorite music streaming platforms. It's a song that I wrote, and I was blessed to have Crystal Craven, prolific Crystal Craven, join me in the song. She has a beautiful voice, and it's a beautiful message about God's grace. Thank you, Cake Sweet, for liking and subscribing. We'll be back with you in about 3 minutes and 30 seconds with the Bible study. Stepped out from the doorway, measured out my restless doubt. Ankle deep in mercy, still I kept on walking out. Every fear, every question pulled me farther from your face. But the current kept on rising, stronger than my wandering ways. Your grace gets deeper as I run over my head, but I'm not undone. Thought I'd lose you as I left home, but the farther I go, the fuller the flow. Your of grace, always a step ahead of me. Knee deep
within sight. I was tracing old addictions, trying to outrun the light. Then the flood reached my shoulders. I could barely touch the ground. In the place I feared you'd leave me, it's where your kindness pulled me down. Your grace gets deeper as I run over my head, but I'm not undone. Thought I'd lose you as I left home, but the farther I go, the fuller the flow. Take me where my feet can stand, where my plans don't reach, but your arms still can. Every step away, you widen the stream till I'm swept away into what I dream. Further from your temple, deeper in your heart. I can't exhaust the river, I can't outrun the start. Your grace gets deeper as I run over my head, but I'm not undone. Thought I'd lose you as I left home, but the farther I go, the fuller the
All right, that was Fuller the Flow. Let's get that out of the studio. I'll bring up Levite. Good morning. How are you doing, sir?
Doing all right. Just waking up again.
Okay. I had my first thought related to the death of Moses. It says that, and he just ended up getting buried by God, is what it said. That
In
interesting.
an unknown place in Moab.
Well, in the mountains somewhere, yeah.
Yeah.
He sent him to the mountains in the land of Moab. And then it says it's God who buried. So he's the only one. That could be a trivia question. Who's the only person who's said to be buried by God? And that would be Moses right here in Deuteronomy 34. Why do you think that God didn't want? Because you know how that we always, even to this day, we have burial sites and things that people celebrate and go over. Why didn't God want them to know where Moses was buried?
Well, later, wasn't it in Jude? Michael and Satan were arguing over it, or the body of Moses, who was going to get it. Am I right?
I don't remember that. Really?
Yeah.
Did they know? Did they know where to? They were arguing over where to find it.
It's not necessarily the answer. I'm just saying that maybe it's an area we can look at. Hold on a second. Actually, I'm not remembering that.
Yeah, I don't remember that at all.
Michael,
It's a short book.
Yeah, it's only one chapter. I guess that's the way you want to look at it.
So it was Michael and who? Satan?
Michael, the archangel, and
it said, but even the archangel Michael, when he was disputing with the devil about the body of Moses, did not himself dare to condemn him for slander. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, Jude verse 9, yeah.
It says, in the same way, these dreamers defile their bodies, reject authority, and slander glorious beings. It's an important line. Of course, the subject matter of that line in June is not to talk, really reference. It references the body of Moses, but the body of Moses is secondary to the point of, and interestingly enough, of Michael not even disparaging Satan, who I presumably wanted to defile Moses's body. Is the implication there. Yeah. But all he said was, the Lord rebuke you. He didn't say like,
well, there must have been some value And the Father knew that. He's all knowing anyway. He's omniscient. So, as far as the real reason, I don't think we really know.
Well, I think that you reveal something interesting, though, is I think we can discern from the book of Jude why defiling the body could have been done. Like, it makes me wonder, and I'm just talking out loud, if God's intention is he doesn't want pomp and circumstance, and he doesn't want to make a sideshow of Moses. And it makes me, and I'm talking out loud because it is kind of a circus or a sideshow when you go to Israel and see the locations where Jesus was buried and where he was crucified. And I wonder if, and again, I'm talking out loud, if that displeases God. I don't know. I mean, what I found when I went to the location, and some say it's not even the right location, is you feel something very spiritual about it. To be able to touch you can actually touch the spot where I'm trying to remember. I know in the Nativity you can touch the birthplace, but I think you can touch the place of the believed crucifixion spot as well.
Mm-hmm.
And God may not want us to focus so much on that and treat sites holy, when really the point is it's God who's holy and we should worship him. And blessed are those who have not seen but believed, right? And that's one of the things about the location in Israel where you can go, is the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, so I can't remember what it's called.
Well, I know all about it. I've never actually been to Israel. I think you have. You said,
yeah, it's gorgeous. I've touched the site.
Yeah, I don't know about you, but I mean, one thing I noticed about a lot of Christians that have been there, because they talk about it, as they well should, they seem to have this kind of little candy, immature version. And I understand it's an exciting thing to do. It has to be. Okay. I can't put myself in your people's place, but at the same time, it seems to be very elementary, very immature. And I got to see this and I got to see it. They take it kind of in a vein. That's not the right word either.
I know what you're saying. No, I know what you're saying. And that kind of goes to the point that maybe that people put a lot of focus on a location as opposed to the God that we're supposed to worship. It becomes a site where we're worshiping idols, basically. Even I partook of it at some level where I remember other people were, and I thought, I could just say it. For instance, there is, when you first walk into that church where the crucifixion is and the tomb, allegedly, there's a slab where they say that they've maintained that they allege was where Jesus was laid.
I'm glad you're saying it that way.
Yeah. And then, but people were touching it, like it had some kind of power. And I even put up, but you'll see that I failed with that too. I took my hat off and then I brushed my hat with the thing to say, okay, I've done that, almost like Muslims with the black stone and the Kaaba.
Wow. It's funny you say that, Rob. I don't know what you did growing up as a kid. You said it was pretty loose, but you still had some Jewish training, education. Yeah. I'm not allowed. I'm sure you know this. We're not allowed to, and unless if you're a sage, as in a scribe, to then you can maybe, but we're not allowed to touch a Torah scroll. What do we do when they bring it out for us?
Right, they have a pointer. Yeah, that's what I had to do when I read
your Bible or something like that.
Yeah, when I read from my Torah portion, they had you use a pointed finger. It's like a stick with a little finger at the end, and it guides you in your reading.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. So it's so a holy place is really not what God necessarily wants us to touch. But I don't think that he really. I don't know. It just makes me wonder, and I think that we can get a good idea based on that line from Jude. So thank you for that. Ben is here this morning. He just says, I can't stay. Go walk the dogs. Listen later. God bless Ben. Thanks for joining. At least
maybe sometime down the road too, that his body would have been dug up. for a relic.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like even John, I've been there too, which is in Ephesus, where John, the Revelator, or, the Apostle John. Whoa, you're roboting. He was buried, and they took his bones. They took his bones, and they took it somewhere in Italy, I think, somewhere in Rome.
I could maybe try to refresh and come back.
Give it a shot. Give it a shot.
Okay.
The disciple of the Lord comes in, says Matthew 18:11, for the Son of Man has come to save that which was lost. Jesus Christ came to redeem all who believe, no matter how far gone down the wrong path. The Lord has made a way to salvation. Amen. Good morning to Bruce. So I'm going to jump from that, which is, all right, I'll bring you back in, Levi. I don't know if that'll be any better. So far.
I don't know either. We'll find out.
So far it is. So that's good. This is a subject matter that we dealt before. I'm moving on to Luke because I only have about 10 minutes.
We talked to Luke 20.
In Luke reading today, this is just before the crucifixion, and this is when he's being tested. We read this, I think, in Matthew, but we can certainly talk about it again. There was a line, probably the biggest line that I read today is right here, which I thought, which is when he talks about, and he gives the proper answer that the scribes liked, which was that in heaven, basically in the resurrection of the dead, nobody's given away in marriage or is married, which is interesting. But it says, no, nor can they die anymore, for they are equal to the angels, but more importantly and larger than the angels, for all those who believe become sons of God, being sons of the resurrection. This is a little short order gospel message right there that is implicit inside the answer that Jesus gives. And the scribe actually likes the answer, but he just doesn't know the means of the resurrection. And probably the most interesting thing about that is the scribe must be a Sadducee who doesn't believe in the resurrection. Right? That's pretty interesting. And yet still says that he's spoken well. Dares not question him anymore. They tried to trip him up because the Sadducees were using this. This reminds me of YouTube, with people trying to trap each other with theological discussion and asking questions so that they already know, like a chess game, they know the next move they're going to go. If somebody they ask a question, and if they get a certain answer, they're going to try and stump them with the next thing. And that's what a Sadducee was trying to do, because I believe that this was probably the biggest argument that the Sadducees had in their favor of no resurrection. As they probably said, because of this impediment, because of this law that says that if a widow doesn't have any children, then the next brother has to come in and take over and have a child for the brother who died. And so they think that this is some great conundrum that because Jesus is preaching the resurrection of the dead, obviously is a major part of the gospel, that they want to trap him. And he throws it reverse 180, that they have nothing to say in response. That being said, there is no marriage, or people are given away in marriage in heaven. So it's not a conundrum of who is going to be the woman's husband, because it's irrelevant. The other thing that I get out of that is that Jesus then is therefore asserting his absolute authority, right? That he has sovereign authority, but not only that, he has knowledge. He has divine knowledge, that he knows what is going to happen in heaven. The only way this conundrum works is for people who are unsure. So as this is another place that I would argue that Jesus gives an implicit declaration of his divinity. What do you think about that? If you're there with me.
You're asking me?
Yeah.
Oh, well, no, I have no problem with that. He doesn't have all knowledge. I don't think he's all omniscient. The Father is, the Son is not. We went over that.
I don't think we did. Why do you say that? Do you go to the part where he says he doesn't know the hour? Or
Yeah,
What?
well, that's one of them. No, we did. It was well over almost 2 years ago. We did.
Oh, okay. I don't remember that. You have a good memory.
24:36, compare with Mark 13:32, and also go to Hebrews 5:8.
Yeah, I think that Jesus does. That's where we would disagree. I think that when he said
he might now, we don't know.
I think he knew that, because especially in one of the verses you cited, I don't remember which one, because you're probably talking about, I don't know the hour. He prophesies his death. Like he does prove that he knows the future. I would say what that means. A lot of people say what that means is that it's not for him to reveal. It's for the Father to reveal, number one. And number two, it is well,
then you've changed your mind, because we were more in agreement that day. Now
remind me what was said.
Well, I quoted, yeah. Well, I quoted the chapter and verses that I just did. And I read to you Hebrews 5:8, though he were a son, capital S, yet he learned he obedience by the things which he suffered. Well, if he was omniscient at the time, why would he need to learn anything?
Well, I mean, there's certain things, in his finite brain. I think as a child he needed to, but I understand where you're coming from with that position. Bruce, not a lot of time, but welcome. How are you, sir?
I'm doing okay. How are you doing?
Not too bad, thanks. What's going on? Do you have some thoughts on that?
Well, yeah. I just thought it was kind of interesting, because I often hear people saying about how Jesus knew all things, and that, he always existed, and that he is part of the Godhead. That's what makes it difficult for me. Like, I understand through Philippians 2 and such.
Right.
Like,
that's where I was going to go.
What's that?
That's where I was going to go. That's like my answer to that.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And in Philippians 2, he
humbled himself and
became a little bit less than the angels or something like that.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's difficult to understand and grasp all of that, I think.
Yeah, and we can't know for certain, but I think as it relates to that, you're right, Levi, that he definitely knows now. I suspect that he did know. I just see some of my favorite apologists, one of whom I'm going to see this weekend, God Logic. He argues that when it says that the Son of Man doesn't know, something like that, that it doesn't exactly mean that he actually, in fact, is not aware of, but that it's just not the time to reveal that to people. And personally, I have a very controversial stance on that in terms of when the end is. I think the end will be when the sun gives out, S-U-N. I think that we've got a long way to go. There's people saying we're in the end times and it could happen tomorrow. And I just don't think that it's definitely not coming soon, I would say. And I think there'll be people, God willing, 5,000 years from now, who are going to be saying, any moment now. That's probably something we could talk about for a whole hour and not in the 4 minutes that I have left.
Well, look, I don't know what they mean by the end of or we're close now and we're at the last days. I tend to agree with that, but I'd have to see what they mean and try and give me not a precise timeline. If the sun didn't know, then we don't know. And but if I believe the tribulation will probably be around 7 years. Well, that's another timeline right there, and it hasn't started yet. So we have a little while yet.
Yeah, well, Rick Campanella says something important, which is that we should definitely be reminded of tomorrow isn't promised. That's sure. Because what is assured is that very few of us live to be, for instance, 100, and all three of us are past the halfway mark of that. So our time is most certainly short. So the end times is most definitely in our relatively near future. Unfortunately, right. However you see it. So our end times is coming.
This isn't a record by any stretch, but the oldest person I took care of in geriatrics was 105, and I'm even over halfway to that. So,
well, I just see like my dad. I look very much like my dad, so I feel like when I look at my dad, it's like that's me, and he just turned 80, and he's very, very frustrated, and it's hard to watch because he can sense, he knows, like he can't remember like he used to remember. He knows that he's repeating himself. He gets really confused. He forgets where he put something, and it could be right in front of him. We all do that. Like my dad the other day, his glasses were on his shirt.
I do that.
Oh yeah, I do too. And but because of everything else, because he can sense that his faculties and his cognition are just not as close to what they were. It's sad.
Do you encourage him with a Psalm chapter 90 verse 10 then?
I just encourage him in general, and I try and tell him is exactly what Bruce said, which is like, well, that happens to me too, Dad.
Well, can you picture, say, even 10, 20 years ago, ever walking around and looking for your keys or something like that?
Sure.
And then you realize they're in your hand?
Yeah, I don't think my cell phone, that's happened to me, I think.
That's
like, because you get so absorbed with it. I was looking at it and I was reading something that I think kind of affected me. And then it was like, okay, I got to go. Well, let me get my cell phone. You kind of forget what.
It's like just kind of funny.
But that's one of the things, as an example, it's funny that I brought up the cell phone. Because my dad, he doesn't even remember what a cell phone is, like what it's called. He says that thing that does the internet. Like he'll remember that, but he can't. And it's not just like one occasion; it's multiple occasions. So whatever that part of his brain that processed what it was is gone. So anyway, I mean, it's sad that's we just end up breaking down.
Don't talk about that. That'll end up on the news.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, on Rumble. Yeah.
I have absolutely no idea what you're talking about.
Me either.
Oh,
Well, I'm confused. What do you expect? Of course, I don't know what I'm talking about.
All right. So, but here's how we're going to close. So I thank you, Bruce. I'm sorry, Bruce. We'll have to spend some more time because this is a nice discussion, but I'm going to have to close it up. In the end, though, when we know that is to come and our own demise is to come, and as Rick Campanella, I should have definitely pronounced that right because like Roy Campanella is one of my favorite Dodgers. And Ronald says he's 64. So Ronald's up there too. I think Paul McCartney with that and the Beatles.
That's perfect age right there.
It is. But why should we fear in the days of evil, or really in the days of death, when the iniquity at our heels surrounds us? It's interesting comment here in the Psalm where I think it references envy. One of the things we shall not do is because when we do that and we start focusing on things that we don't have and the success of others and the riches that we perceive they have, that we need to always remember, and it's a great reminder of us, it's the wisdom that comes out of Psalm 49, that it's not about the riches that we can attain in this life, but it's the riches, in quotes, that we can attain in the life to come. That's the hope of the believer. What do you guys think about that? That'll be like our final thought.
Yeah. Good.
If you have anything. I mean, there's not a lot to say.
Well, I forgot what you
Well, God will redeem our souls from the power of the grave. That's the hope, right? He shall receive us for all those who believe. Now, at this time, when this was written, Psalm 49, there was no crucifixion, there was no resurrection, but there was a substantial amount of hope that David had for a future, for a reconciliation with God, and we have that through Jesus. So, Bruce and Levite, thank you for joining me tonight. This morning. I hope that we'll have an opportunity to talk a little bit more in the future.
Yeah,
you guys are welcome anytime.
I'm still waking up. I'm so tired right now that I remember it, but I don't have any brilliant thoughts.
It's okay. You usually do. Thank you, Levite. Bruce, did you have some final thought? Where are your keys? Are you there, Bruce? You're muted if you're talking.
Well, look, since you gotta go, I might as well just go ahead and head out. Thanks for letting me on, and I got to get some more things done. I need to. I'm taking sleep shifts, but anyway, I need to probably get moving. I'll listen to it for a couple minutes in the regular YouTube then.
Yeah. Okay. Great. I'm done. But Gail is here. Sister Gail. God bless you, Gail. Have a great day, Levite. Wake up. Get some coffee or something if you drink that.
Well, that's exactly what I'm doing right now.
Yeah. That helps me. God bless, Levite. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Bye. And I think Bruce maybe had some problem with the mic or something. But Bruce and Levite, thank you for joining here. Nice little brief discussion today. There are other things we could have gone into, but I think we talked about already in the previous readings about the woman with 2 mites, and she, out of her poverty, as Jesus says, put in all the livelihood that she had. And it's something to think about. Gail says, today is your birthday. Not yet. The 25th is my birthday. Ugh. And I will be the same age my grandfather was when he passed away, but he was late 57. That's just what I'm heading at. And it's one of the reasons I'm probably, I know that I am actually, but what does that mean? As Rick Campanella so wisely said, tomorrow isn't promised, but I'm every time I'm working out, and I try and work out about 3 days a week now, hard. And I feel much healthier right now, but I'm not promised tomorrow. Anything can happen, but I'm trying to I think about the scripture. It says like our body's like a temple, and I'm like, the body's a temple. I'm doing this, but I'm also doing it selfishly for the idea of, I'm hopeful. There's things I want to see with my son. I want to still be around. I don't want to leave my wife a widow earlier than I need to. And then why did I eat the Porto's cheese Danish this morning, or cheese roll? There are 2 more downstairs, and I will use my what willpower I have to not touch those 2. I think my wife will have one when she comes home probably. And then I'm going to go sheepishly. Can we split the 3rd? But I'll save it. Or maybe I'll just split the 3rd and have a cup of tea in the afternoon. I don't know. Willpower's hard, but if you're able, in whatever way, take care of yourselves. It's at least the reminder that I have lately is now that this major date is coming. That's a landmark. So much so it worried my mother, who's still around. My mother is she just turned 79. Yeah, 79. So she's a year and a half or so, pretty close, younger than my father. They're no longer together. But she was very worried about turning 57, and then that being the date of her father's death, or the year. And she ended up almost dying. It was like self-fulfilling prophecy. She ended up with kidney stones that she ignored because they didn't hurt. But she got flu-like symptoms and just thought she had the flu until one day she couldn't even get up. She could barely move, and then she kind of just passed out. My brother found her, got her into the doctor's office, and she was in severe sepsis. And her organs started to shut down. This was in 2004. So thanks be to God, she got another 22 years, which is where, we're close to that moment where that happened. Think of exactly about this when I was summer of 2004. But it's on my mind, certainly, but let's not have it as a self-fulfilling prophecy, because at the very least, I want to finish the Bible in a year. So let's get through the Bible in a year again, and thanks be to God that hopefully that'll happen. So the 25th, Gail, you're going to mark that on your calendar, but thank you for thinking about me, and thank you for joining me, folks. It was nice to have Ben pop in, disciple of the Lord, Bruce to pop in, and Levite inside. Gail, of course, to you. Cake Sweet, thanks for joining. Jeffrey, Mercy and Love, thanks for being here. Bienvenidos, muchas gracias, y hasta luego, Señor Gilberto Barrios. He closed to say, you have now 3 that are not able to go bajo. I don't know what that is. I think he's put me down for the number of people that I had in the chat. That's all right. I did it for you, Gilberto, y tu hijo, and your son. Daisy, of course, thanks for being here. And I think that covers the groups that were here. If you haven't liked and subscribed, then please do. If the Bible is something of interest to you, if you're a non-believer, a Muslim, a Hindu, an atheist, whatever, you're welcome here to ask questions. And the name of the game is respect. That's all. If you have respect and you're not going to be fighting and you actually don't have answers already to the questions that you ask, your questions are sincere, it's a true thought where you're not sure and you just want a different perspective, or you are somewhat sure, but maybe you want to challenge your belief, and that is the motivation, then I'm down. We can talk. But if that's not your motivation and it's trying to just troll, then what's the point? I'm not a fan of that. Tomorrow we are reading through Proverbs, Luke. We're getting closer to the end of Luke. I think Luke has 24 chapters. And we begin the book of Joshua. We're done with the Pentateuch. So if you joined me this far, congratulations. Got through the first 5 books of Moses, the Pentateuch, the Torah, as well, everyone but Muslims know it. And we've gone through the book of Job already. There's a lot of things that we've already read. And it's pretty exciting. And it's just one step at a time. It's sort of like, I feel like reading the Bible in a year is very similar to the idea of you have this home or this place where you are and it's totally messy. And you're like, I don't even know where to start to try and clean this. You just put one foot in front of the other and pick a spot, begin there, and just keep going. And when you keep going and you endure to the end, eventually you go up. It's all taken care of. It's done. As Jesus said, it is finished. God bless you. We'll see you tomorrow sometime between 7 and 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time with day 112. Again, it's right below. Why don't we close with a live version of Shema Yisrael? That's just my song. That was my evangelism tool to my Jewish family and any Jewish people, friends and family that I know of the message of Jesus and that he is indeed the promised Messiah of the old scriptures. So why don't you join if you don't know him? God bless. We'll see you tomorrow. Be good.
Yisrael, Adonai, Elohim, Adonai, Echad. I've got some questions. Do you know the King of the Jews, the promised Messiah? The Holy One who you must choose, gave eternal life.
you.